Okay guys, here is finally the video for the for my power supply, how I made it over there. So the easiest way I could do it without having to tear that thing apart, because I don't want to tear it all apart, I'll try to draw it the best I can to scale. So then you can watch this video over and over, and if you're building one, then you can just keep on rewinding it, and I'll draw and do everything live right now. So let's do this first. The power supplies. These are rated. These are from eBay. They're 12-volt power supplies from servers on computers. Not like the little ATX ones, you know, where they come out of a desktop computer. These are actually out of server towers. You know, the big towers that servers run off. You know, all these servers that are online, the forums and websites. These are the power supplies wherever those servers are, because most servers are rented, you know. So, these ones are rated at 12 volts. Oops. 12 volts, 47 amps at how many watts? Okay. At 575 watts. So, 12 volts. 12 volts. Wire them in series, 24 volts. Wire them in parallel, 12 volts, but double the wattage. So 575, 1050, so 1150. You can check my math if you want. 1150. So it'd be 12 volts at 1150 watts. Well, I wanted to go for voltage, so I went to 24 volts. Power supplies run better, or not better, I should say, because all power supplies are rated differently. Depending on what charger you have, it'll run more efficiently and use the maximum power it has with the more voltage. That's the same thing with running brushless or anything. The more voltage it has, the more efficiently it will run, because it's not drawing as much amps. It'll draw less amps. Amps create heat. So when you're stressing out a motor and your battery's not up to par, or let's say your power supply, you know, it'll create more heat. It'll be a lot harder on it. So anyways, let's get into this. Let me put out my cigarette. Okay, so the first thing we do is I'm going to show you how these are wired in the back. So they come wired with like a little plug. This little chingus right here, just a plug where you can plug your standard type plug deals in right here. You know, the three-prong plug. So they come with that. You got your ground, your negative, and your positive, or whatever ways it goes. You know, I'm not sure because I'm not looking at it. Then in the front, it has this little spot right here that has all these little pins. We'll just put them like that. They're just little pins, or like a plug can go in there, you know, like a multi-plug where each pin does something different. Then it has these little slots. There's 4 of them on these. Okay, so these little pins, and then these little slots. Okay, so these 2 are negative. These 2 are positive. These 2 are negative. These 2 are positive. So we're just going to start really simple right here. If you were just to buy one, it would be rated at 12 volts, at 47 amps, at 575 watts. You buy your plug, you plug it in, and you put it to the wall. Boom. That powers this on, but it doesn't turn it on as far as producing power. These are wired a little bit differently. I can't explain it, so you'd have to go to the forums to know. I just followed the exact instructions that were on the thread that I will try to post in the description. There's these little pins right here. So let's try to draw it bigger. let's just say, how many are there? Let me try to think. 3. Yeah, there's 3 or 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 9 pins. I believe there's 9. Or actually, no, there's 12. I think there's 12. Yeah. So a plug would normally go in here, and that would activate the power supply to turn on and produce power, and the other pins do other stuff. Well, if you don't know which pins to cross to turn this on, you'd have to get out your voltage reader and plug this in and start touching one with your negative and positive to see what each one does. On this specific model that I copied from a specific thread that had this exact same model, which I'll try to give you the, here, let me see the model number. Hewlett Packard, model number is D as in dog, PS dash 600 P as in purple, B as in boy, then B as in boy. Pin number 321632-501. That's what kind this is. Series, it is ESP135. And this has a 5 volt rail as well at 7 amps. So it has a 5 volt at 7 amps. So there's 3 pins in here. We're just gonna say these 3, 2, 3, that need to be crossed with each other in order for this power supply to turn on. Well, I took a servo lead. This is a 2-prong one right here, but say it was a 3-prong one, and I don't know what they went to, so I cut them back so there was wires, you know, yay long, so I could wire it up. And I made it to where I put one in, because it's 3 slots, so it fit perfectly. So I put 1, the wires coming out of here, 2, the wires coming out of here, and 3, the wires coming out of there. And then I wired them together, and then from right there, that went to a switch, which is this one, the 12 volt switch. This is the main switch. You can wire this up a couple different ways. You can put solder across these pins, so when you plug it in, boom, the power's automatically on, it's all ready to go. Or you can do it where you plug this in and then you can switch it from here. So you can, these two wires can come together, and then this wire, and then a switch right here. It doesn't matter however you do this configuration, it doesn't matter how you do it. Whatever 3 that makes this turn on, doesn't matter how you do it. You can put a switch. I did it like this. So main power switch turns everything on but doesn't produce power. Then boom, there's the switch that turns the 12 volt on. Boom, there's the 24 volt. So that's how you do that right here. So there's 3 wires that came out of here. 1, 2, 3. Then they go to a switch, which would be, we'll put right here. This is 12 volt. So it would all come to here, the switch. That would activate that. Back here, I wired this for a switch as well. The main switch, right here. This is the main switch, right here. So I got all 3 of these wires, ran them all individually, and ran them to the switch. Okay, simple. Over here, this one is the no ground case. Now what that means is this ground right here is left undone. So you just take the 2, the negative and positive, and you bring it all the way over to the main switch, right? So the main switch will activate both of these. 12 volt switch coming off the pins, I'll activate this one, and then this switch, because I put another switch for the 24 volt, is off of this one. Boom. So now there's our switches, there's how everything is. So now these are powered on, they're producing power. I'll try to provide the links to show you how to do this part, but that's only for this specific model. But if you read through the links, it'll show you how to test them. If you have a regular voltage tester, you can easily find it. So there's that. Simple. These little rails right here, that's what they call them, 12-volt rails or whatever, you know, rails. They're like little metal tabs where something would push into. Well, you can solder right to them. You can put your wire in there and throw some solder on there and be done. So then how did I do it? I went 12 volt, 24 volt, 12 volt, 24 volt. Okay, positive, negative colors. So we'll just start with the simple 12 volt one. So you just wanted one, you just want to have 12 volts. How do you get it to where there's leads coming out here to produce power? I use these little 4mm plugs where these plug into 4mm. You can use whatever you want, however you want to do it. However, your power supply has plugs. Whatever you want to do. 4mm banana jack or banana plugs? Okay. Get some wire. Come out to a positive. Get some wire for your negative. Put your freaking banana jacks right there. Boom. That's it. You can just have the wire hanging off. That's it. You don't need to have anything special. Just insulate the ends so they don't touch. That's it. So you take your negative side on your 12 volt. This is the 12 volt side right here. Just one. So we're going to deal with 12 volts. Negative, obviously, goes to negative. Right? Positive goes to positive. So there it is. That's it. That's all it would be for one power supply. That's it. Now you can plug your charger into here, however you do it, and it's ready to go. I went this route, obviously, so I put all mine up here and they're all marked. Now, here's where you put both of them together. Series or parallel. Series is double the voltage, just like with lipos running. Parallel, double the power or the capacity or whatever. So wattage. Well, I want 24 volts, so we're going to run them in series. So what you do is, off the grounded case, okay, let me start over. Off the grounded case, the one where you ran all three with the ground back here, you want your positive of your 24 volt to come off here, your positive side. Don't ask me why. That's just what they said on there. Maybe it's how it works or whatever. So off here you have your positive. So here's our other positive right here. We bring our positive wire and we're just going to stop right there. Off your other power supply, which your no grounds connected in the back, we're going to bring off the negative. Just like hooking up a battery, a positive, negative. They hook up to each other. Boom. These solder together. They got to solder together. Then off the negative side, the no ground side, you bring your positive side. Sorry, your negative side. Disregard the positive side. Your negative side to the 24 volt part, or another banana plug, or whatever you want to do. Then off your let me see one thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Then off your positive side, off your 24 volt positive side, you can just tap into your 24 volts right here, or whatever, however you want to do it. It's got to be off the positive side. You go to another jack, and that's labeled 24 volts. So you could have both these charger or power supplies sitting next to each other with two jacks. That would be for 12 volt, which strictly comes off one. Then you have your 24 jacks, which comes off of both. So when wired in series, we're just going to use a battery as an example because that's the easiest way people can understand. Say these are two lipos right here. You have your negative, your positive, and your positive. You hook one of them up, positive and negative. Boom, there's your connection. and then you have your other connection. You have your negative, and then you have your positive, and that goes to your plug. That's a series connection right there. Positive, negative, that's what you're doing right here. Your positive side, your negative side, boom, wired together. Then your positive to make this the jack, then your negative to make the jack. So it's just like this, same thing, same thing. You don't have to do it any different. So we got the 12 volt positive that comes off of here, 12 volt negative comes off of here singly, 24 volt. 20 volt positive comes off of here, 20 volt negative comes off of here. So that's it right there. And one more safety feature they said on there is if for some reason these, okay, let me go back. When this case right here means no ground, internally off this grounded side on this 12 volt rail, the ground, or the negative, we'll call it the negative rail on here, is actually grounded to the whole case with screws and stuff. So the whole case is actually grounded. So if you were to get your charger and hook into this positive side and then just touch the case right here, it would actually power it on because of the case. So when they mean by no ground, it's just not connecting to the ground up here. The only way to physically have a no ground in this case would have to go inside, undo all the screws, and you'd have to free float everything inside the case using washers and gaskets or whatever, and that is a pain. I saw someone do it, but I'm not even gonna do it. So as a security thing, they have this little LED light right here. All you do is you get a piece of wire and you solder it from one supply to the LED, then from the LED to the other side. So LED light right here, LED, this is for safety. Just solder it on top of the case and solder it on top of the case. If this light turns on, so if it's bright, you have a short somewhere. Something's happening to where these cases are touching, or something's happening. This is a low voltage LED, so it's not going to take much. So shut everything down. Shut it down right away, unplug everything. All it is a safety light. That's what they said in the thread. I went along and did it. So that's your basic wiring right there. I mean, it might be a lot, but really if you look at it as a battery, you're just wiring the same thing. You have your one battery, you have your two batteries, your two batteries. You want to run it singly or you want to run it in series. That's it. That's all it is. Now, as far as how I did it with all these switches and stuff, well, you don't have to do that. I just did it, you know. I made it to where there's switches. I made one main switch. So here's your mains. I made one main switch, and then to turn on the power, I made another switch for each one. So I called this one the 12 volt switch, and then for this one I called it the 24 volt, because once you power this one, then since this one is the 24 volt side of the 12 volt, it makes that connection. It makes that serial connection. So that's what I named it. So that's why I have the 24 volt, which is right here, and then the 24 volt off of here. I do have a 5 volt, which, going technically more into it, on these little pins right here, there's a couple of these pins, I believe it was 3, which had 5 volts. It produced 5 volts. It was only 3 of them. I wired all 3 together and made a little banana jack for it, and I named it 5 volts. And then you can just use your, and that's the positive side. And then for your negative side, you just use your 12 volt negative off the single one. So your 12 volt negative off the same case. I only did this 5 volts off the main case. The main case is the ground case on the positive side of the 24 volt. This is the main case. So it's the main one. So everything comes off of here. This starts it all. The 12 volts, it starts to 24, and it handles the 5 volts. I did the 5 volts because you can use it for testing servos and stuff or whatever. I just did it. I just wanted it in there since I had it, so I did it. It's at 7 amps, so it's perfect. And then other than that, that's all I did. I did the switches like that. So your main switch, then your single switch to actually activate this one, your single switch to activate this one. And then I put the 2 fans in the case. These are 12-volt fans from a computer. They're on eBay. I think both ship for $10. There's obviously a positive, negative, positive, negative. So off the main case, I just hooked it up to the positive, positive, negative, negative, all underneath, of course. So these fans come on when you turn this one case on. Boom, the fans come on. So it pulls air in, and then I have holes drilled to push the air out. And then my other power supply in there, the one I originally bought, is a P350. This is at 15 volts. It's wired the same way. It has a plug just like this, and then it has a switch right here. So it's actually the same way. So you plug it in, that has power to it, but you have to actually turn the switch to produce the power. So you would think of these little pins as turning that switch. So I put the plug in there, I plugged the plug in, I ran the plug, and I put it to the main switch right here. Main switch. So the main switch controls 1, 2, 3 power supplies, and then this switch, I undid the power supply, pulled the switch out, and just extended the wires and made a own little jack right here for 15 volts. And I did the negative and the positive. Why did I want 15 volts? Well, this charger right here only goes to 18 volts, 11 to 18. Instead of having to put the strain on the 2 power supplies, because I'm already using this one at 20 amps, then this Hyperion at another 20 amps, that's 40 amps right there. These are rated at 47 amps. If I did this at 10 amps, that's 50 amps. If I loaded everything up, I'd probably break my trip, or trip my breaker and my main plug. So since I have this is rated at 15 volts at 23 amps, which is more than enough for this or whatever else. So I can use it for this, or use it for the iCharger, or use it for this, whatever I want to do. I just threw it in there since I had it. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to say it, to explain it. I hope you can see this with the GoPro. Just rewind it, listen to it over and over. This is your main power supply. Just think of it as a battery, you know. This is your main one, 12 volts only. You have your main switch. Then off these little pins, you can make another switch, or you can directly solder it right on there. And when you turn this part on or plug it in, that could just be your power. Just plug it in, it turns it on. That's it. You could just leave it like that. You could get a wire that's a foot long, run it out on the positive side, run it out on the negative side, and boom, there's a 12 volt power supply, and you're done. So all you're doing is duplicating the other one, except you're just wiring one wire, the negative from here and the positive from here, together to make that serial connection, and that gives you 24 volts, just like 2 LiPo batteries. You're running it in series. That's all it is. Hope you guys can understand. I'll try to put the links in there. I'll try to find the exact link that I did for my power supply, and then I'll give you other links that list multiple power supplies and how-tos for each one. You can get all this crap off of eBay for cheap. Half the stuff I already had. So I believe that's it. Oh yeah, I wanted to say I did get a new charger, the Hyperion Duo 2. I thought it was the Duo 3 at 15 amps per side, but this is 10 amps per side. But at the price of $120, and it was new. It was used, but it was new used. As you can tell, it's like brand new. The guy, he didn't even use it. He got out of the hobby real quick. One of those guys where they buy everything and then they decide they don't want to do it and they sell it. This is one of those. For $120, a dual charging 10 amps per port. I took it, and it came with everything, box, all the adapters, everything. So now I have the 3 chargers. So I have this one, the iCharger, and then the Chargery. So 10 amps, 20 amps. 20 amps, I can charge 4 batteries at once, or I can do 2 off of this one. I can do 2 off of this one with my harnesses I made to do 2, and I can do 2 off of this one. So technically I could do 6 at one time, but 4 is enough. So I just leave it as that. And if you have any questions, message me, comment, email, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.